Hello everyone. Today I think it's very important that I go ahead and show off my top 10 favorite blocks in all of Minecraft. That's because my opinion probably matters to you, I think, right? Okay, please disregard the fact that I just fell down there. That did not happen, okay? Let me go ahead and show you all exactly what my top 10 favorite blocks are. Starting with number 1, let's just go ahead and start with the obvious, dirt. Dirt is a very important block right here. You can see by all the textures and stuff just how important it is. We use it in everything. We use it for terraforming, we use it for farming. We spawn on it a lot of the time. In fact, this stuff right here, it's the basis of Minecraft, okay? It's so important that I have to list it as number 1. Number 2, of course, is stone, because stone is like the second thing that's like so important. We use it everywhere. It's so versatile. It can be used for paths, it can be used for buildings. As we can see here, this entire area was made completely out of stone, which is ugly. I of course need to mix in other things, but stone works wonders. It's just like one of those blocks that it's easy to get and it's easy to use. So we love it. And of course, number 3, is moss. I really placed these things down really ugly. Number 3 is moss because of the fact that it's so versatile. We can use it for everything. We can use it for like terraforming. We can use it for moss on buildings. It's a really nice green block. On top of it all, it is such a big advancement for Minecraft players overall. Moss has helped many players become experts in terraforming. By placing moss on a huge array of blocks, from stone to dirt to granite to diorite and andesite, we can actually turn all of it into moss and use that for terraforming and making our areas, like our bases, look so much better than they have. So moss is number 3. Hey, what's up y'all? Welcome back to episode 80 of From Bedrock to Java. Man, I can't believe we already had 80 episodes of this world. Actually, well, not really 80. We've had 79 and this is gonna be the 80th one. But anyways, welcome back to today's episode. So today we're actually gonna go ahead and work around this area that we have set over here. In the last episode, we went ahead and built this thing right here, which is a mushroom farm. Well, you can't really tell it is a mushroom farm based on the way it looks from out here. However, on the interior here, we actually have ourselves a very beautiful mushroom stem farm. This thing here is very much so very efficient and very cool because of the amount of explosions that happens on either side to get rid of like a bunch of other things in there, like the brown mushroom section, so we can collect only the mushroom stem. It's awesome. I love this thing. I've never built one of these things before, but I'm really happy that we got to do it in the last episode. In the last episode, we also went ahead and built this nice little house that goes around it, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. I'm happy with all the colors, and I think it fits really well. In fact, I mentioned in the last episode that this color right here is something that I want to do on my mega base right over there, because I do have little sections of sandstone. However, I do want the main block to be sandstone at some point. I'm really tired of this stone, so at some point I will replace all of it with sandstone, and maybe, well, apart from certain parts, maybe like this section here, which might just be some sort of basis. I don't really know just yet. I'll figure it out as I go, because this thing will continue to build up as I decide fit. Because I'm really lazy. I don't like to work on one project for a really long time. So that's why I wanted to say, in today's episode, I kind of work around this area. I know I said I don't like working on areas for too long. However, I didn't really get to work on this area for very long last week because I was just so busy. So this week, I'm going to go ahead and try to build up as much as I can around this area. The first step of that process is going ahead and just making this island fit better within this area. There's just so much around here that just doesn't look good. So I'm going to try to fix this area up, make it look better, and then start putting in other buildings and like scenery. I want to make this area feel complete. I want this area to be one of the first areas that I completely finish, kind of. Maybe I might not do interiors, I don't really know just yet, before I start working on anything else, because this area over here has been really empty and ugly for the longest time. So that means we're gonna have to build a couple things around here. I also want to actually represent this area for what it used to be. This area had a lot of things that used to be here, but I ended up getting rid of because of various reasons. One of the buildings I want to have around here is a guess the object minigame, which we had here for several months until we got rid of it to build this building right here. So maybe I'll build a building somewhere over here that has guess the block minigame on the inside of it. I don't really know. It's really simple, but I just gotta have a building for it because I love that game. And if my friends ever want to play it again, we need to rebuild it. And that reminds me, I actually do need to rebuild my minigame area at some point somewhere around this world because I got rid of it and the area that it used to be in is no longer available. So that means I'll have to rebuild a minigame area somewhere else, and that'll be quite fun to do. So maybe in a future episode, we're gonna go ahead and do that. There also used to be a little farm right over here, which I got rid of. And I am very much so happy I got rid of it because this entire area just felt really wrong with it being all potatoes and whatnot. So I think I'm going to maybe build something like right over here on this coast, which has like a little potato farm for someone that lives over here. I don't really know just yet, but stuff like that. We're going to go back through into our old episodes and try to figure out what else we've had over in this area. And we're going to go ahead and build stuff over here. So let's go ahead and get into today's episode. Haha! How much room do I have near the library? Oh, wait, that's actually kind of a good spot. I think I found the map hall. Could be a good spot for it. I could have... Oh, yeah, I could have like 5x5 maps. Like one here. One here.
I mean, you could have like one there, or maybe expand out a bit and have both sides.
I can't do that.
I mean, you could also like probably push back the.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could push this part back. That could work. Yeah. Okay. Because I can definitely put like one map up here. I can put another map down here. Another one up there. Another one down here. That way we have at least 4. I think. Does that fit? 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can get rid of that block up. Why do I have that block up there? I can't reach. All right. So I've gone ahead and collected a bit of blocks for our actual build. Over in the mushroom stem building area. I don't know what to call the area just yet. If y'all have any ideas, leave them down in the comments below, but I don't know what I'm going to call it just yet. But I think that this entire area over here, I kind of want it to be a little bit more of a posh neighborhood. I think I want there to be a lot more richities. I want the people over here to have a lot more money because they might, I don't know, since they live closer to the area, they live closer to like the ocean, they live closer to the area where the gods of this area live. I figure that the people over here have to be either richer or more well off, or at least like blessed by the gods to be able to have a more luxurious life, because these people have to tend to the gods or whatever. So maybe something like that. I don't really know just yet. What I was mentioning earlier is the fact that I want to go ahead and build stuff over here that kind of helps the gods as well. So like I mentioned in an earlier part, I want to actually bring in like the building over here for our guess the object building, but we also need something like a dedicated branch for the flying god to sit on when needed. I don't really know, because this guy over here, he's got a really nice little ledge. Maybe the guy over here, like an owl, I think is the bird I'm going to build for it. Maybe he wants like a very specific type of branch. I'm not sure just yet, but I think we'll figure that out as we need to. So for right now, I think I want to go ahead and bring in some retaining walls, because a lot of this area it's really cool. However, it's very dangerous if people are walking by. I kind of want this to be more of a scenic area. Not as many buildings, but a lot more structure to it that really feels cool to walk through. How it feels really cool to walk through our village over here. Like if we walk through the city, it's pretty cool to walk through, but the main issue is that there's like, you're just looking at buildings. I want to be able to look at nature as well while I'm over in this area. Also, I need to throw a bed over here because it is really annoying to have to go fly over to my starter base. Hiya! And just go to sleep just so I can avoid monsters and whatnot. Ha-pa-pow. Okay, number 4. I have to say it is a bone block, just because bone blocks are very good for white type buildings, and with the white building, you of course want to have like a nice little, I don't know, kind of an off-white. And bone blocks are a very good type of off-white. On top of it all, bone blocks are made of a very important material, bone meal. Bone meal is used for so many different things, from farms to farming, or I should say like mechanical farms, to farming, and then like growing grass, terraforming. It's used for so much. It is literally the backbone of Minecraft. Without bone meal, we couldn't do half of the things we do in today's gameplay loop, I suppose. We use it for so many different things. It's kind of like an underdog. And of course, something that isn't an underdog is of course sandstone. Sandstone, I think, is one of like the best base material blocks. You can use it to start pretty much any build, and you can add almost any color to it, any other block to it, and it'll look good. I can't think of many blocks that wouldn't look good with sandstone. Actually, don't prove me wrong. I think I could probably think of something. Probably Bedrock. But then again, what does Bedrock go good with? And finally, number 6. I think this is number 6. Yeah, I can't really count. Is spruce. I think spruce is like one of the best, I think the best type of woods, because of just how easy it is to get and how versatile it is. It's like a nice little brown color that's not too dark and not too bright. It's in the Goldilocks zone. It's perfect. On top of it, spruce is such an amazing wood for just general use, because spruce is one of those trees that can grow in a 2x2 area and become absolutely massive. And massive trees, you know, those are easy to farm wood for, and you know, that makes life so much easier. That's why I love it so much. I love you, spruce. All right, let's go ahead and try to put in our first retaining wall. So this is one of the areas right here that I think needs a retaining wall. This part right here is pretty fine since it's pretty nicely sloped, just so that way it's kind of not too steep. This part right here does need to be terraformed just a little bit to make it a little bit less steep. And let's just figure that out real quick, because it's pretty darn simple. One thing I like to do when building my slopes is to make each of these little layers, I suppose, a little bit smaller than the last. So the first layer down here is probably going to be the biggest layer, because this is where a lot of the weight is being stored. So a lot of the weight up here is being held up by the lower levels down here. So we need to make sure that the lower levels are a little bit larger than the top levels. And that means like areas like this, they're just going to need to be a little bit bigger. just so that way we can really hold it together. Let me also put these back down because it's going to be really dangerous without them. And right over here, we can go ahead and just, again, just boom. There we go. And okay, it's feeling a little bit less steep, but this is the area up here that really needs the change. Let's fix that up. That's fine. We can shrink that a little bit. Okay, this looks a little bit better. Let me fix this up real quick. So now we can actually have this part not have to be retained by a wall. However, this part over here is really steep, and I think this part would be perfect for a wall. So what kind of wall do we want? Do we want a wall that forms to the structure of our land right here, or do we want like a wall that's like obviously man-made? That's a real good question. I think since this area is taking care of the gods, I feel like it's going to be somewhere in between where it's like kind of being taken care of mainly by the people around here who live like a luxurious life, but like also kind of natural. I don't really know what would be a good way to explain it. So I think let's talk about lore real quick. So like I've mentioned, the gods of this area are going to be this heron and maybe like an owl that goes right here. And I feel like the people on this side of the area, they know about these gods. They treasure them deeply. They really care about them. Maybe it runs in the family. And maybe like the people, they wanted a certain group individuals to take care of them. And maybe like the people held like a contest to see who would take care of the gods for the rest of their lives and their generations afterward to come and protect the gods. So maybe the people of this area all have like a very similar bloodline. The people of this house have lived in here for generations. Another people of another house, more generations. I don't know. But I think that'll be the main goal. And if that's the case, maybe they get used to the area, which means they don't really take care of it as much because they've gotten used to it more than the people over there. They know the gods, so they understand that maybe the gods aren't as pretentious about keeping things up to a certain standard, which means we can take this area and make it a little bit dirtier. And I think that means we should follow, the form of this area, but kind of have it run down a little bit, maybe. I think it'd be a good way to do it. So let's go ahead and try to fit this thing to form. And that just means would we have this here? No, we would not, because the wall, well, maybe a little bit, but not too much. The wall would be here already, so if too much of this is falling, then this isn't a good wall. Man, I think my voice is just, it's going. It's gone. It's over for me, guys. This is it. This is where I go. I'm getting too old. The sickness is trying to get rid of me. But I've gone ahead and built up a little bit of a retaining wall, which I am kind of happy with the shape so far, but it definitely needs a little bit of work. So this part right here, I'm going to have to bring the land up ever so slightly, which means I'm also going to have to start bringing this wall into this part of the mountain, which means something like so would be good, actually. Yeah, there we go. Now we got a shape. How does that look when we walk in? Let's see. When we walk in, ooh, actually, that's kind of nice. I like the brick. The brick looks really cool. We walk through here. Okay, I think I know what this area is missing. I like that this part right here creates like another wall between here, which makes like a bit of an alleyway, but I don't like that there's so much sky up above us. I think what we need to do is build like a little tree which overhangs this area. Maybe it like connects to this tree right over here, and I think that'd be pretty sick. Having like a tree that overarches the buildings and the pathways really would make this area feel more cozy. And I think if I put a pond right here, we could put a bench somewhere over here so we could like sit underneath the tree and enjoy the pond with some fish in it. I think this would be a really nice spot to be. Okay, so I've gone ahead and cleared out this little area right over here, and I think it's just about big enough to fit like a tiny little hut for someone who maybe does a very specific task for the gods of this area. I'm not sure just yet, but I think this area fits perfectly for that. And then right above it, we can have a bigger house right up here for a family, which does the guess the object type mini game. And I think these are like the main areas that I didn't really figure out because it'll be a pain to try terraforming it when I need to build it, but you know, we'll figure that out later. Okay, another quick little progress update. We went ahead and brought in like a little bit of some sort of pond. We haven't like decorated or anything yet, but now we have a shape. And this area right here is starting to feel really cozy. I'm really excited to see where this thing goes because something about this area just feels really nice. And I feel like it's gonna be one of my favorite areas just to like walk through. I have a lot of areas. Actually, I don't really have that many areas in this world. On other worlds, I like to have an area that I can walk through and just enjoy some Minecraft, you know? Have a place that I can just calm down, relax. It's nice. This area right here is just, it's beautiful. I love this area. There's so much greenery around it. I can see some nice builds. It's awesome. Though I do have to say, this thing needs to go. I hate this Christmas tree so much. I'm gonna get rid of it, and then this view will be so much better. Next up on my list of favorite blocks, I think the next one has to be mud. Mud is just one of those blocks that is also really versatile, and it's really easy to get. It's like the upgraded version of dirt. It's dirt's older brother. It's just dirt mixed with wheat, and well, I guess it's really wet dirt mixed with wheat, but you know, water is like, you know, pretty important, and wheat's used to make bread, and bread tastes pretty good. So you know, wet dirt plus wheat. That's gotta be pretty darn good, right? Yeah, it's pretty versatile too. It can be used for paths, it can be used for buildings. Next up is copper, because copper is very important. While it is a slightly more expensive block, it can have multiple stages. It has a wide range of like different types of things it can become, like stairs, slabs, trapdoors, chains, buttons. There's so many different things it can do. And then all of the different oxidization levels of like just plain copper to a slightly oxidized version, to an even more oxidized version, to an extremely oxidized version like we see right here. You can't see because of my big head, but that one right there, it's such a perfect block. I love this thing. And finally, I think the frog lights. Frog lights in general are some of the best lighting ever added to Minecraft because they're easy to farm, they come in multiple different colors, and they break really easily. See? Look at that. I also just really like the sound. Plus it comes from frogs, you know, frog lights are pretty darn cool. So we went ahead and did another little outline right over here. And I think this is what I'm gonna do for right now. Okay, so we went ahead and built a little outline right over here of a tiny little house. We haven't really figured anything about it at all just yet, but you know, we have like the little shape, which just helps us to visualize what we're gonna see when we walk down this path. Yeah, having a nice little house right there would be really cool because it just helps to block off some of that mountain over here, which is not as nice to see. I think this little section right here will do wonders. All we'll have to do is to try to figure out exactly where we're going to put our tree. And I think our tree is going to fit either between here somewhere or go above it, like right over here and then stretch over there. I think that'll be the best little plan for our tree there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try to figure out all of the stuff tonight and we'll see how much we can get done. And yeah, hopefully y'all will enjoy it. So let's go ahead and get back into the rest of today's episode. Haha! All right, time-lapse time. Let's go ahead and get done with the first building. So this first building I actually based off of a reference that I found on Pinterest and I really loved. I love the coloring, I love the idea, and I decided to try building in a similar style while not exactly copying it. And I think this thing looks absolutely amazing. And then we also went ahead and built up that small little cabin that I built earlier. And I have to say, for such a small building, I think it looks pretty darn good. And we even got started on the basic outline of the tree, which I think works pretty well. We of course need to add leaves and all that kind of stuff, but for right now, I think that's a pretty good base. Should have told you I could see this coming, like I'm looking right into a crystal ball. When I fall in love is with misfortune. Oh, I wish I wasn't Mr. Know-It-All. Give you everything you said you wanted. See the future like it's written on the walls. You're the only thing that's missing from it. Oh, I wish I wasn't Mr. Know-It-All. Alright, so we've done a little bit of work over here in our little area right here. I still don't know what this area is called, so I'm just going to keep calling it this little area. That seems to be a common issue with my builds. Wow, I got a really big height there. But let's go ahead and talk about what we've done so far. So let's go ahead and walk through the bridge just so we can see everything that's going on. Okay, so as we walk over the bridge, we can see that we have ourselves quite a bit of stuff here that's new. So this part right here, this has been here since last episode, but over here we have a bunch of new stuff. We now have an actual tree that actually, you know, spans over this entire area. One thing I do have to say about it is the fact that I think it is a little bit too tall to fit exactly what I had in mind. I was thinking more of a shorter tree, like right around here, which keeps like a tighter tunnel kind of feeling. However, I don't mind this. It's still okay. I think what I can do is I can bring in a couple more leaves to come out and extend over into this general direction over here. And I think that'll look really cool. And I am also really happy with the way that this tree is shaped. Some parts of this I do need to like fix up, like this part right here. Let's just throw that in there just to make it a little bit better. I think that looks better. Overall, I think this tree is pretty darn cool. I'm happy with it. Now let's go ahead and move on. I also have to just mention the fact that I still need to decorate this pond and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm going to do before we end the episode. I'm going to try to add in just a bunch of small little details that we have not done yet, such as like little details for the pond, fixing up like the pathway, maybe like bringing in some more foliage, that kind of stuff. But let's go ahead and talk about what else we've done so far. So right up here, we've built another 2 houses. This one right here is like a tiny little hut, which I don't know what's going to be in here just yet, but maybe it's like someone who take care of the deities outside, and that's about it. So that's why it's a smaller house. Maybe like they're not as important. I don't know just yet, but for right now, this is the tiny little house we got. I have to say the main issue that I had is that a lot of the builds in this area are really small. This build right here kind of ended up setting an expectation that this is already a really big building, which means that all of these other buildings have to be much smaller. And based on this size, this is considered like a medium-sized house, but its scale in this world is just way too small for me to get all the details I like. So it was a really fun challenge challenge, but I wish it was bigger. Same thing up here. This is another build that we had that meant for the Guess the Object minigame that we have right here. I definitely need to dress this up better because right now it's really basic, but you know, we can fix that easily. But I have to say, I'm really liking this block palette. I saw this palette on Pinterest and I saw like this general idea of a build and I really wanted to try it myself. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. We're missing a couple windows, but that's fine. Overall, I think the blue and white is a really cool block palette, which I'm definitely going to come back to in the future. I think Prismarine looks really good with quartz and diorite. I didn't use any quartz in this build. However, once we do get ourselves some more quartz, I think we're going to try to build it into this kind of thing. Is there a bunny in here? Oh, that's adorable. Okay, on to the final build. This is another build that I saw on Pinterest, which was some kind of like diorite, like apartment type housing. It's a little bit more modern than everything else around here. However, I was like really interested by the shape itself. I think the shape was the most interesting part about this build. So I wanted to try practicing with it and learning how to use like a solid white color because I rarely ever do solid white builds. So this solid white build has a bunch of different accents on it, such as this green from the bamboo and the browns from like the spruce and some grays from andesite. So one of the issues that I've realized with this build is the fact that the diorite, it looks cool. However, it is very monotonous, which means I need to come back through with some more blocks. For example, right here, we got some bone blocks and we got some mushroom stem. Once we come back through with those blocks, this area right here will look so much better than it does right now. So that's another thing we're going to need to work on. We're going to need to just actually texture this thing because right now it's like a cool shape. However, the blocks itself don't look all that good. Maybe from a distance it'll look better, but you know, still need to dress it up a little bit better. We also need to go ahead and try to like bring in some potato farm around here just to commemorate the old potato farm that we had right there. And that shouldn't be too hard. And besides that, we haven't really done much else. So I think that means what we need to do is either build something else like over here for like trees and stuff, or maybe like a little area that people hang out. I don't know just yet, but we need more stuff around here just to decorate it and make it look better. Because let me free cam real quick and look at this area. Okay, so what we got so far is this little area, which has a bit of an outline to it. It's got this house in the right there, the house in the back, and then this house in the front. So we got like some kind of shapeage here, and I'm happy with it. However, this area over here is very much so empty and lacking, which makes this area over here really heavy, and this entire area is now completely unbalanced, which means we need to fix this area up. We need to bring in something over here to balance it out, some stuff up here just to put in the foreground, and we need to actually go ahead and set up some sort of branch now for the other deity, like I mentioned earlier. So we're gonna bring in some kind of perch over here, and then in a future episode, we can go ahead and build an owl, which will go somewhere like right over here. Not sure just yet exactly if I'm gonna go for an owl or if I'm gonna have it flying. I don't know just yet. I haven't practiced it, so I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, we're gonna leave that for future me to figure out. Now, let me go ahead and go to okay. You do you, Mr. Enderman, sir. Did he just leave or? Interesting. Can I help you out? Here, go ahead. You wanna leave? Yeah, go ahead. Good. You can leave, buddy. Go ahead. Out the door. Oh yeah. Thank you. Oh, he broke into my house. Okay, let me go to sleep, and I guess let's go ahead and get back into work. Time for the final block that I think is of importance. I think that redstone here is one of the most important blocks in Minecraft. Redstone can be used for building, it can be used for different contraptions, it can be used for farming, it can be used for just like buildstone. Redstone is one of Minecraft's greatest pieces, and I think in that case it should be part of everyone's list, you know? And redstone here, man, I've loved this puzzle for the longest time. So I gotta say, redstone is amazing. Plus it's a really nice shade of red. But anyways, it's time for honorable mentions. I think our honorable mention will be TNT, because TNT is just really fun for explosions. It's good for farms. It's good for a lot of things. It's good for like guardian temples, because I've used them before in guardian temples and I absolutely love it. And I just realized I haven't actually placed it down. Let me just, oh, I forgot about that. Ooh. I made a mess. Luckily, TNT was only an honorable mention, right? It doesn't matter that I don't have it anymore. Oh, goodness. There's even a hole here. I should probably fix that. Luckily, I have stone. One of the best blocks in Minecraft. I'm going to take my leave now. Let me know what you all think of my tier list. What would you change about it? And are there any blocks that you think should be number one instead? Okay, so after about an hour's worth of work, we managed to get quite a bit done. So right over here, we actually managed to get in a couple fields, with some of them being wheat and a lot of them being potato, only because I didn't have enough seeds. I almost fell on top of that. That could have been bad. But yeah, we got a bunch of these little things just around here just to like plant all of these different potatoes. I definitely want to bring out some of them over into like the water area over here, but I just ran out of dark prismarine that was on me at the moment, so in the future we'll get back to doing that. But over here we even added a couple trees just to help balance up this island a little bit more. I still don't know what I want to put over here, so I've kind of left it blank for right now, but once I come up with something, maybe we'll throw it over here. And over here, same thing. I don't know what to throw over here, but once we figure it out, it's got to be something naturey, I think. I don't want it to be like another building because it would just look a little awkward, but you know, we'll figure it out. Could be a tiny little gazebo. We can always do that. We're gonna be building a lot of gazebos in this world apparently. But yeah, we also threw around a bunch of different foliage around this area, such as like firefly bushes. We threw around 3 of these warp fungus and a bunch of just general, what are they called? Just the normal bushes, like so. Yeah, the bush. And in here we threw in a little bit of seagrass, some pickles to light this area up because some of this area is very dangerous. So we need to light this up to reduce mob spawns because it'll be dangerous otherwise to walk through here. And let's see, what else have we done? We did throw another tree right over here and right over there behind this building. And you know, they're very basic, nothing too special about them, but they do add quite a bit of balance to this build. For example, if we step back here, those 2 trees alone help to balance out that like little city area because there was just so much city and not enough foliage. Now that there's something to break everything up, the city feels a little bit larger than it did before. And the final thing we ended up doing in today's little section here is we built this little branch right here for our god to sit upon. And I'm really happy with the way this thing has turned out. I decided to use the same materials I used for most of my trees, and I think it looks really cool. I can't wait to build a bird here because I feel like it could have either an amazing pose with 1 leg up here and 1 leg down here, also like screeching out into the world, or it's like flying above this, or I don't know. There's a lot of different possibilities for this. I just need to figure it out because this thing looks sick. I'm so happy with it. I can't wait to get this thing into something that's, you know, visibly usable. All right, so today's episode has gone on quite long enough, and I think we need to go ahead and end it off today because I ran out of time to actually record this week. So anyways, we've done a lot of work in today's episode, and I'm really happy we managed to get it all done. There's still a lot more we have to do, but I'm really happy with where we ended up so far. So hopefully you all enjoyed today's episode. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and of course, have a good one, y'all. Goodbye. Haha. I'm just gonna keep staying here until we extend this thing up to 27 minutes on the dot. And we've done it. So haha.